Hello, folks. Wheel of Time Season 3 was just announced yesterday with their teaser trailer, and I am here today to share with you so many juicy details. Just 5 things I think the Season 3 trailer has confirmed that we weren't sure we were getting, maybe weren't expecting, or just were hoping for, and we didn't know if it was going to happen or not. But let's sit down, let's get into it, and let's find out what these 5 things are. Hello, folks. Yes, yesterday was an absolutely incredible day. Not only were we having an amazing time with the interviews happening at CCXP with Rafe Judkins, Yosha Stradowski, and Madeline Madden, but on top of that, we got a teaser trailer about a minute long, roughly. And with that teaser trailer, we also got the release date, which is going to be March 13th, 2025. That is, as I'm recording this video, like 95 days away. Like, I cannot believe how close that is, folks. It's like 13 weeks. It's ridiculously close. The trailer itself was absolutely insane. I was live at the time with Kevin Angus and a whole slew of guests, and I will be putting that timestamp on the screen somewhere, so you can go and check that out if you haven't already, and you can watch our live reactions and just watch our brains melt, basically, and hopefully you then stick around for the rest of the stream and enjoy watching it, because we dive into things. We're looking at stills, we're zooming in and out, we're replaying the video, people are coming and going, different aspects and different points of views, and it's so much fun. So please go check that out. But today I'm going to tell you 5 things that I have noticed in the trailer that I think are confirming things for season 3 that we either weren't expecting, were just hoping for, or maybe even just kind of gave up on and thought, yeah, that's just not going to happen. So let's dig into those, and let me tell you what those 5 things are. I'm going to go with how I like to order them from like 5 to 1. But we're going to kick it off with this one, and that is, folks, I think we have Tanchico confirmed, but there's some bits with that wasn't, we weren't 100% sure on. So these 2 stills here, we have Liandrin dressed up in red, and we have Min, who is very much looking like just absolutely incredible in this outfit here. Is this an Elmin Dreader moment, perhaps? We're not 100% sure. That's one of the extra little bits I think we're getting from this. But the reason I think this is Tanchico and really confirming everything, even though we don't explicitly say this, and this might be something you were kind of expecting but weren't sure on, but let me point out these bits here. So firstly, in the top, Liandrin is clearly wearing a veil of some kind. This is not a type of outfit we've seen anybody wearing, especially Liandrin, and that makes me definitely think that we're getting the Black Aja vibe going to Tanchico. They wear veils. That's a heavy part of their costume and their dress for that place in the Wheel of Time. So I think that's a key indicator there. But on top of that, doubling down on this, I think Min is in perhaps just a storeroom, but she's in the museum section of the Panak Palace here. As you can see on the right and the top right and the bottom left of this picture, I'm mirrored, so that's going to go weird for you there, folks, but we have some taxidermy going on, a zebra, an oryx. Like, these are creatures we definitely haven't seen in the TV show, so who knows. On that bottom right, there's that weird looking container thing. Someone suggested it was some kind of, like, Dr. Pepper can for Sarah Nakamura, various types of spray paint cans and things like that. And then on the top left, there's a skeleton. Now, it's not a saber-toothed tiger, folks. However, it is a skeleton of some kind, and we zoomed in on this on the live stream reaction, and I think it's a wild hog. It does have that tusk effect on the sides that hogs tend to have, so that's what I think that is, which, that's pretty cool. That's, a tusked animal, who knows, like, we didn't expressly get saber-toothed tiger in the books, so I'm willing to take that. But yeah, number 5 on my list, folks, is Tanchico is confirmed. We are going to go there. Then we presume we'll be hunting down the Black Sisters from, we assume, the bonkers moment in the first episode, which is the Tower Coup, which I don't think anyone was not expecting, unless obviously you've not read the books and you're checking this out, and I'm going to just leave that there because you're going to want to find out what that is. Okay, folks, number 4 on my list. This one's kind of a personal favorite, and I don't think anyone... I think we were kind of hoping this might still happen, but I don't think anyone was really expecting it. And it's not what I would call a massive moment in the books, but I feel it's a very beautiful forming moment, and it really could still give us a character moment between, or a personal moment between two characters that we get in the books that we haven't gotten so far because we haven't gotten a certain character, which we will be getting this season. Also something that was confirmed in the trailer, but I don't think anyone doubted that was happening. And this is, I'm going to kick it off here. This is blacksmithing going on here in the top photo. This is an awesome action shot. I think this is a real action shot. I don't think this is CGI'd. That is Marcus, I'm pretty certain, hammering a hot piece of metal with a big ass hammer, forging, as you can see in the bottom photo, his half moon axe. Now, why is this something I think confirmed? What I think it's confirming is a remake of a scene from the books where Perrin goes in Tyr and goes blacksmithing for the day and earns his hammer for the work that he does. And Aiel ends up watching him a lot and is like, oh, so you really are a blacksmith. That's not made up. I think this happens in the Two Rivers when Perrin gets back and he has to go through all of what we know is going to be the Battle of the Two Rivers. I know that's happening. I don't think anyone's surprised that's happening. It's a major plot point for the fourth book. And obviously you did see that we all, very lucky last year, those of us that were invited out to Prague to visit sets, we did go to the Two Rivers and seen it in full battle mode. I think we're going to get that moment of Aiel and Perrin where he is blacksmithing and she kind of gets to know him better. And we have this character bonding moment between the two of them. And this is how Perrin gets the axe. I'm hoping that he keeps a hammer as well as the axe, because those two items are a big part of his storyline and his story arc and where he goes for his future place in the books, which I'm not going to spoil for you folks. But yeah, this is number 4 on my list, and it was just, for me personally, it was really good. I wanted to put it higher, but I was like, there's a few other things that I wanted to put slightly higher. But yeah, great moment. And I don't know, I just think Marcus blacksmithing is going to give people who maybe aren't a huge fan of Perrin a moment to be like, oh, that hot. Because I think it's going to be a great scene. So that's number 4 on my list. All right, halfway through the 5 now, folks. And this time we are getting over to a huge feature of the trailer, and that is some Aiel discussion. Now, if you know me and you watch my channel, you know I do Threefold Talk every Thursday, and it's a heavy Aiel focus because it's all Aiel, apart from myself. I'm the token wetlander. But this made number 3 on my list, and this one is confirming a change. Okay, something we didn't expect. Now, we've had changes in the past, numbers of Forsaken and things of that nature. 8 is appearing a lot, and I think they've carried on and done that for the Aiel, because if you look at this picture, which is Rand and Couladin, confirmed by another shot throughout the trailer, in the Golden Bowl. I'm not going to pronounce that in the old tongue, folks. I always butcher it. I never get it right, so I've given up trying. The Golden Bowl, declaring themselves to be their Karakan, their chief of chiefs. In the bottom right of the photo, we have a whole bunch of Aiel watching this happening. In the top right, I believe a group of wise ones watching over the clan chiefs, making sure they don't screw things up, obviously. And then we have clan chiefs. Why do I think we only have 8? Well, have a look at those chairs, folks, because there are not a huge amount of chairs there. There's only 8. Okay, there's a set of steps going down to the platform that Rand and Couladin are on, and then we have the 8 chairs. Now, I suppose you could argue maybe there's another set of 4 seats to the left, but there's only one walkway up and down to that platform. And why would you put that with 4 seats on one side and 8 on the other? You'd do 6 and 6, wouldn't you? So I think this fully confirms they will strip down the number of clans to 8, or if you want to add in technically the Gen who are Aiel but not Aiel, 9. Depends how you want to count that. I would count that, but 8 main clans that we will see in the show. I'm going to do another video on the Aiel stuff because I have some theories on how you identify the different societies based on a couple of things, and how you identify the different seps and clans and all those sorts of things. So there will be an Aiel clothing and an outfitting video about those things coming down the track. But right now, I think this trailer has confirmed for us that they have stripped down from 13 clans down to 8 clans plus the Gen. Top 2 people, top 2, and this is another book moment, which it almost made number 1. I spent a lot of time on this on the live stream with Kev and the others, breaking this scene down, looking through the stills, playing it through the trailer, listening for the sound effects of broken glass, because we are getting Bubbles of Evil confirmed. Now, this is like a mid-action shot here, people, and the reason I've only given you this one mid-action shot is it kind of gives you a little bit of everything. So very clearly we have Rand in the center, expelling an explosion of power, looking very fire-heavy focus here. Look, all the reds in the weaves and such. But some things you may not have noticed, and let me throw up some arrows so you can see, there's a few figures in this scene. On the left of Rand, so that left arrow there, this body is almost completely destroyed, but it is almost like a molten liquid metal, liquid glass sort of type bodies in this shot. The one on the left is mostly destroyed. The one on the top right, this is kind of at this stage, getting there. There's a small chunk left, but there's a big chunk that's also been wiped out and broken to pieces and such. But then on the bottom right, and this is where I think we get a bonus confirmation. I'm going out on the limb here, folks, but I'm going to say it anyway. This third body is yet to have been touched by the explosion of power, and it is leaning over a bed. Now, the scene from the books that I'm talking about, obviously, Rand gets attacked by copies of himself from a mirror, and he does explode the big mirror to the left of that left arrow at the beginning of this shot here, as he then expels the energy and kills the other, I'm going to call them mirror creatures. However, in that scene in the books, Berelain is in there with him, trying to get in good with the dragon. This is before she moves on to other choices, shall we say. And I think whilst the two figures closest to Rand that are almost completely destroyed were going for Rand, that figure on the bed is clearly not going for Rand, not even looking at Rand. I think that figure is attacking someone else. And my gut tells me it's Berelain. It could potentially be a maid of some kind who just happened to be checking in on Rand at the time. I suppose it could be one of the girls or Moiraine, but I doubt that because there's no female channeling happening in this scene. I feel like they would be at risk of their lives, and they would clearly channel, and that's not happening, which makes me think it's a non-channeler. My gut thinks we've got a side secret confirmation that we have Berelain here. This almost made the #1 slot for these two reasons, because A, it's a great representation, just this short bit from the book scene, which I love, and B, I think it gives us Berelain. But it didn't quite get there. But it's an awesome shot. The best thing about it is, right at the end of the sequence in the trailer, if you really close your eyes and focus on the background sounds and less of the music and things like that, you will hear the tinkering of exploding glass as the scene happens, which is just a beautiful touch they've thrown in there. It says to me we're actually getting audio from the scene, and I can't wait to see that. Okay, so if Bubbles of Evil being recreated from a book scene didn't make your #1 slot, Rob, what did make your #1 slot? And that, folks, will be this. What is this? Moiraine holding an orb, putting power into it, and then standing on a rock face and just blasting power out with various colors of weaves. I think this confirms a change to the Choden Kal, which I think is a really, really clever change. It also ties into some sort of fantasy that people are going to be used to seeing, and it still stays true to what we see in the books. So let's talk these two pictures. On the top, we see Moiraine. As this scene happens, you see weaves coming from behind her, coming round and going into this orb. Now, this orb, I believe, is the access key for the Choden Kal. I don't think it's the Choden Kal themselves. That might still be a statue holding an orb, which is what the access key looks like in the books. But here it's just an orb. And I think that's a great change. I think that's really, really clever. It's really classy. It looks really slick, Age of Legends-esque. We don't see orbs anywhere else. And the reason I think this carries on to be the access key is in this next shot, which I also will talk about the cinematography in a moment. This next shot, we see all the power just exploding out from her in these huge weaves, and the camera catches one as it goes past. And I do think that the initial shot is her channeling into the access key, tapping into the actual Choden Kal, and then getting a power boost back as a result. Two things I want to point out about this. Firstly, kudos to whoever flew that drone, because that is beautiful cinematography there. That is such a great shot. The sun, as it slides across sideways, the sun is captured right on the edge of that rock, giving a beautiful visual of light as it moves. That is such a difficult shot to get, because the sun, from that distance away from that rock, the sunlight will be creeping really quite quickly. And you have a very limited amount of time to get this shot filmed correctly and capture it like that. And kudos to them, because it's such tight work conditions to do that, and it comes out in such a stunning way. It's a breathtaking visual to see there, and especially with the CGI of the weaves coming down and like sweeping as the camera moves, like sweeping into the camera. It is stunning. And the other thing I want to say is, yeah, it just feels like a great change to the books. Rather than carrying around little people with orbs, you just have these beautiful orbs. They're very nondescript. They don't look like anything. And there could be giant orbs floating around that are the actual Choden Kal. They might just be the Choden Kal themselves, which I also think has a small possibility, but that's a low, small possibility because Moiraine channels into it first and then channels out from it. I don't know if we're going to have a giant statue or just a giant orb somewhere. We will find out. We did get giant statues at some point in this trailer, which I think was an Age of Legends flashback or a mirror scene or something of that nature from Meridian. However, it works out. I'm just excited. I think this looks slick. I think this is really, really exciting. It confirms the Choden Kal, which are important for the series as a whole. And the change makes it feel fresh and vibrant and in keeping with the style of what they've made. So, that's my number one. What do you think of my top five, folks? There were lots of things confirmed in that trailer, most of which I thought we knew. But these five, I was like, I don't think we were kind of like, really expecting these. Some of them I think are big changes. Some of them are little like fun book moments. Let me know what you think. Do you think we're getting Berylane, for example? Are we getting the Perrin Aiel bonding moment while he's forging his axe? The Choden Kal being completely changed? Or am I just being a lunatic and saying, hey, Rob, that's just some of the gimmick she found going through Iridian? I don't know. But please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new here, comment below with what you think I got right, wrong, whether I'm a lunatic or, I'm onto something. And I will see you next time, folks. Thank you so much for hanging out. And yeah, just cannot wait for season 3.